thousands amongst thousands have been heard. And you can continue to log on to UFC.com to vote or text A for Serra, B for St-Pierre to 88222 all night long. Our text voting brought to you by Tap Out. 58-42. A lot of people think that Serra did not win that first fight as it being a fluke, and that he can do it again. And the fans of George Rush St-Pierre are all over this fine province, this great city, and in attendance tonight, ready for GSP to become the undisputed welterweight champion. Coming up next, former UFC middleweight champion Rich Ace Franklin enters the octagon to try to take down Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt Travis Lutter. And later tonight, it is our main event of the evening for the undisputed UFC welterweight championship as Matt the Terra Serra faces French-Canadian, Montreal, Quebec's own George Rush St-Pierre. If I can change and you can change, then why can't we change? Continuing with the aforementioned Rich Franklin in the middleweight division, he once held the belt for 14 months. Now he looks to rebound from a loss to Silva by taking out Travis Lutter.
After the Anderson Silva fight in October, I had talked to the UFC about taking some time off. It was my intention to not fight until June.
The day after he signed the fight with me, he said that he got hurt that day.
I had surgery on my knee January 3rd.
Yeah, I say bull. I say that I don't think he was hurt.
He had a bad day that last time, and I wouldn't want to have 2 bad days in my hometown. Maybe that's in the back of his head.
Things were going my way. I had great first round until that 10-second call came. Silva clipped me on the chin, and from that point on, I was just pretty much a sitting duck.
I was supposed to get killed by Silva. I was beating him, every minute of the fight right up until he won. I want to fight Anderson. I want to get back to Anderson. He probably doesn't want to fight Anderson.
I have Travis on my plate, and he's of the utmost importance to me right now.
If I go out there and win, I think it puts me back in contention. I think it's very possible I could get a title shot. I don't think that there's a long list of guys going, hey, I want to fight Anderson. Let me. And I'm one of those guys. I'm probably the only guy right now.
I don't like talking about future opponents like that until you've done your job.
He's not going to want to be on his back against me. He probably wouldn't mind being on top, but could he take me down? I don't think so. I think I can put him on his back.
I need to defend the takedown and throw some punches. If he wants to keep the fight standing up, I'll be a bit surprised.
I could stand up there and bang with him, but I'd much rather take him to my strength. If the fight goes to the ground and the fight's mine, I want to take his arm or his neck with me.
I'm wondering, Kenny, does Lutter really think he's a rock star, or is he just kind of sucking up to the Canadian crowd walking in the Nickelback?
If he is, he's the most quiet rock star I've ever met in my life.
I know my 7-year-old has to be impressed. Rock star Travis Lutter, at least he wants to be. This is his first fight, his first return to the octagon since the infamous Anderson-Silva matchup 14 months ago. Well documented, he was not able to make weight. It was embarrassing to him, many others. He says, though, it was a mixed calculation, if you will. And you know what? The most impressive thing that came out of a bad situation is he hung with Anderson Silva about as well as anybody has done so far here in the UFC.
He has, and I think that's his source of motivation going forward now. He mentioned Anderson Silva several times.
Yep.
He wants to get back there, and Rich Franklin's in his way here. And whoever it is that's in his way, he wants to get him out so he can fight Anderson Silva again. He has done the best job against Anderson Silva, and he says that fight was his. That was his fight. He lost that fight, and you know, it was the weight cut, and he's not going to make that mistake again.
I think another thing is he gets an offering of good luck from his cornermen, including Mark Delagratis at Yotong Muay Thai Academy, your coach, standing in the corner tonight for Travis Luter, as he did the last time that Luter fought, even in defeat to Silva. He said the one thing he wants to get across, everybody, Kenny, he's not a bad guy. He wasn't trying to be disrespectful to the Ultimate Fighter for the comeback and the opportunity to fight for the title, which obviously changed the life of Mattserati. He said it was a miscalculation. I just want to put it all behind me, move forward, and beat Rich Franklin tonight.
And that's the only thing left for him to do. You have to move forward in situations like that. You need to look at ways to improve that. He has. He made the weight easily now, and you know, it just made him that much more focused on making weight, making sure he's working out, and this is as motivated as Travis Luter has been for any fight.
It was comical, interesting yesterday when he officially made weight at the weigh-ins. Kind of just gave the crowd a little look like, "Ooh, I finally did it," but he really did. He had no problem making weight. He thinks that if he pressures Franklin early, takes him down, he has an excellent chance to win. But he's got to beat the former longtime middleweight champion. One of the most beloved champions in UFC history, Rich Franklin, held the middleweight belt for 16 months until he suffered his first loss in 3 years at the hands of Anderson Silva at UFC 64. He came back impressively, wins over McDonald and Okami, then suffered the same fate in his hometown of Cincinnati, losing to Silva a second time. But Franklin, you can look in his eyes, has a look of hunger, determination. He unfortunately lost his father, Richard Sr., within the last few months, 56 years old, way too young, needless to say. That may be part of it. Knowing he's not fighting Anderson Silva may be part of it. Feeling he's got an inner strength and a belief might be part of it, or maybe the fact that he spent a month in Seattle training with Matt Hume for this fight.
He's changed it up. He brought in Matt Hume for his last fight against Anderson Silva as well. But he knows, he's an intelligent fighter. He knows he had to switch it up. That's a problem with a lot of veteran fighters. They think they know it all. Franklin, as smart as he is, knows that he needs to make improvements. Switched it up with his camp. And from what I hear, he's made some great changes and some great improvements in his game.
Joe Rogan said early in Franklin's career, he looked like an angry Jim Carrey. Well, he looks like an angry Jim Carrey here tonight, as Rich Franklin looks to attempt to return to his winning ways. Significant what you talked about, training with you. Franklin will be one to admit now that he wishes he would have spent more time with Matt Hume prior to the second fight against Silva. This time he didn't leave anything to be doubted. He spent, as I mentioned, a full month away from home in Seattle with one of the best in the business, Matt Hume. Our tale of the tape for our co-main event of the evening in the middleweight division. Rich Ace Franklin, the former champion, 33 years old, 1 year younger than Travis Luter. Franklin 2 inches taller. He will have a 1-inch reach advantage. Who will walk away the victor and get right back into the title picture? Here's the official introductions from Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the co-main event of the evening. Our sponsors for this contest are Edge Shave Gel, Get Your Edge, and Tap Out, American, arrogant, and in your face. Watch Tap Out in their crazy second season starting this June. And now, 3 rounds in the UFC middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter holding a professional record of 12 wins with 4 losses. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing in at 185 pounds. Fighting out of Fort Worth, Texas, Travis, the Serial Killer Luter. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a freestyle fighter holding a professional record of 24 wins with 3 losses. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing in at 185 pounds. Fighting out of Cincinnati, Ohio, he is the former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Rich Ace Franklin! And when the action begins, our referee in charge of this contest is Steve Mazzagatti.
All right, gentlemen, this will be a clean and fair fight. You need to obey my commands, protect yourself at all times. Now let's hook them up. Good luck.
Rich Franklin receiving a great ovation here at the Bell Center. Travis Luter looking to rectify what has gone wrong in the past, that being missing weight against Anderson Silva. Our fight clock brought to you by AVPR, unrated on DVD and Blu-ray today.
You know, there are times where both fighters kind of are unsure what the other guy's going to do. This isn't one of those fights.
Absolutely. Classic striker against grappler. Franklin's tough enough he can get away with brown and pink trunks.
Rich Franklin with a nice knee. Caught Travis on the way in.
Travis just wants this
Luter
down
looks
as
hurt. He's
quickly
going
as
for that
possible.
single leg. Looks like he's recovered nicely. Rich Franklin had to have known he was going to go for that single leg with that leg forward as a southpaw. And he's doing a good job of defending. Grabbing that wrist, not allowing him to switch to a double leg.
I mean, Franklin's ground skills, we haven't seen them a ton, Kenny, but they're pretty darn good, way above average. Working with, of course, George Gurgel, Rob Radford in his corner tonight, along with Matt Hume.
A brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is no easy task. Rich Franklin, a brown belt under George Gurgel. Luter is going to take his back here. He's got to be careful. Franklin's got to be careful here.
You hear the corner of Franklin saying to break his hands, break the grip of Travis Luter.
This is probably the worst possible position to be in. Is Luter trying to take your back.
Luter, see if he can get some hooks in, Kenny.
Franklin doing a good job of not allowing those hooks to come in. Luter is staying patient, beating him up there.
What did we say? I said a moment ago that Luter thought if he could pressure him early, get him down early in the fight, he would have an excellent chance of winning.
The question is, can he finish him, and does he have the gas to keep going? He's got him right where he wants to be. He's in side mount. He's got good pressure. This is where Travis is at his best. He's very heavy here. He's got great pressure, great positioning skills, and he's setting Franklin up for a mount or a submission.
Carlos Machado, black belt. Travis Luter in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Luter trying to get to the full mount.
Great job by Franklin keeping that underhook, that kind of half butterfly guard.
Wow, great job.
Luter staying heavy, working a pass. Franklin doing a good job of getting the underhook. He let go of that underhook, should have kept it. He needs to get back to his feet here, obviously. Doesn't want to be here for too long.
Right back into guard. Good job by Rich Franklin. We just said a moment ago, we haven't really seen his ground skills displayed very often. Doing a good job against one of the best at this type of fight, Travis Luter.
Great defensive skills by Franklin.
Franklin has lost to 2 men in his mixed martial arts career. Anderson Silva on 2 occasions, and Lyoto Machida, who's still unbeaten in his mixed martial arts career.
Travis has that underhook, trying to work for a way around the guard of Rich Franklin. He has a hook. He's going to push down on that leg and slide that right leg through, as he's doing right there, and right into mount. This is where Luter's dangerous.
155 remains in round one, so Luter's got a lot of time to work on Franklin here.
If I were Luter, I would be patient here, look for my opportunity to kind of get this ground and pound going, to set up a choker and arm lock.
You heard exactly what you just said. Take your time. Now he's going to try to finish with the armbar. Franklin able to just spin out of it.
What an escape by Franklin. That is a high-level counter right there. He was in big trouble. Luter transitioned beautifully into armbar. His arm was locked out. Franklin really impressed me with that counter.
Franklin inadvertently caught Travis Luter on that kick. In the wrong place. He apologized immediately. They're back on their feet. That was razor close. You saw Franklin almost think about tapping there with the armbar, spun out of it neatly. And now let's see what Rich Franklin can do. Good sprawl. And again,
Rich Franklin wasn't a champion in this division for no reason. Obviously showing some high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That was beautiful to watch.
now Franklin trying to score some points.
This is where Franklin has to make Luter pay. He needs to, at the very least, if he is going to take him down, get Luter to expend some energy, beat him up with his hands, beat him up with some knees.
Wow, relentless though is Travis Luter on that leg. 30 seconds remains in round number one. Franklin trying to tee off on Travis Luter.
Great job by Franklin.
Still he can't get the leg free though, Kenny.
Luter's very determined to work that takedown, doing a good job, showing some determination and tenacity here. He's got him up against the cage, and this is where he can take him down on the double leg. Franklin is very good at countering that single leg position.
Right in front of Matt Hume. Good place to be if you're Rich Franklin in front of your cornerman. George Gurgel.
Nice knees by Franklin.
Franklin survives the jiu-jitsu skills of Luter.
Excellent round by both guys. That's a tough one to judge. I'd give the edge to Luter. He almost finished Franklin there, got the better position on the ground, but it was Franklin who came back at the end of the round to give Luter some problems. That's a sweet armbar right there. That is gorgeous work right there by Luter, and what a counter by Franklin. Great stuff.
Okay? Try to stay away from underhooking. Okay? Yeah. That's when he's getting you tied up, is when you're underhooking. So just try to stuff and get your hips back or run him over. Okay? And then once you're stuffing his head down and going in there, butt bump, okay? Fight it a little while, butt bump, and just fly out of there. Yes. Don't leave your ankle behind you.
Keep your hands up, okay? You gotta wear him out this next round.
Hey, gentlemen.
Get a little bit of water. You gotta wear him out, okay? I know you're not tired. Come on, everything you got, you worked for. Come on.
I know that voice.
Mark Deligrati, tell him to keep his hands up. That's good advice. Franklin has taken out many a fighter on the feet. And, you know, Luter may have spent some energy there. He's kind of breathing a little heavy there. Franklin looks ready to go.
On paper, Kenny, many believed if this fight got into deep water, and it's not a 5-round fight, 3 in a non-title situation, but the deeper it got, the great conditioning throughout the career of Rich Franklin would reign supreme.
Certainly, Rich Franklin is known for his strength and conditioning routine. Right now, it's frustrating for Travis. He had to kind of flop to his back. And even still, as good as the jiu-jitsu is, I still don't think that's where he wants to be. He wants to be on top. That's where he's dangerous. And Franklin's onto him. He's taking away that single leg entry for him.
Trying to exit with the knee was Franklin. Now Luter takes a head kick in that wobble though. Luter's in big trouble. Rich Franklin looking to finish the fight. Got to be careful not to leave that ankle behind. That's the thing with Luter. He always gets a hold of something. Kind of like the Frank Mir-Brock Lesnar situation. Like, okay, don't leave it out there very long because I'll crack it.
Luter is very dangerous still. He doesn't have his far leg trapped. So Franklin can roll out of it. He can't escape. He needs to trap that far leg, and Franklin did. He got out.
This is giving Travis Luter some time to recover. Luter's fight was nearly over.
Luter's taking his time getting up to his feet. That doesn't look like a good sign. It looks like he's tired, and Franklin's making him pay with those knees. Great job of holding the head and coming up through to the body with knees.
How about the irony of Franklin working the clinch so well? Caught him with the right hand. Luter's hands are gone. Luter's gas tank is empty. His hands are in front of his stomach. This could be nasty.
And there's a saying,
Boom.
fatigue makes cowards of men. And right now, Luter looks fatigued.
Oh, more than fatigued. Let's see if he throws another knee. Boom.
Franklin working that plump position. He's kind of have a half tie clinch there. Dirty boxing.
Down he goes again, but he'll hang on to the leg. Now Luter being cornered tonight by Mark Delagrati because he said, I want one of the best in the business in my corner, but he didn't spend a ton of time at Team Sigiltum preparing for this fight. Just a couple of days, and he really depends on his jiu-jitsu. But right now, he doesn't have the gas tank to utilize his jiu-jitsu.
You know, he did. He only spent a few days. You know, it's going to take more than 48 hours or 3 days, you know, a few months to really improve your striking. And, you know, Luter still knows where he needs to take this fight. He knew he had to take this fight to the ground. He's not going to transition to a world-class striker overnight.
Wow.
And right now, he's paying for that lack of experience on the feet right now.
And lack of conditioning. This is just pretty much in the books for Rich Franklin. Hands are down. I'm waiting for a left hand like it was against Nate Quarry right now, the way that Luter's down. Franklin looking to finish. Luter's all done. It is all over! Rich Franklin has defeated Travis Luter.
Franklin showed some serious patience, some serious maturity as a fighter out there. Did a great job of countering his takedowns, of wearing down Travis Luter with knees to the body, with knees to the head. Phenomenal job by Rich Franklin.
Travis Luter tried to win it early, couldn't, ran out of gas. Franklin took over and dominated.
Nice head kick. That wobbled Luter. Beautiful head kick. Landed almost right on the neck. And there's Franklin finishing him off. Great job by Rich Franklin. Luter was done. He was spent.
What was most impressive was the submission defense and the work on the back of Rich Franklin. Big hug from his best friend, longtime training partner, George Gurgel. Between Gurgel and Hume, that work on his back, utilizing the guard, paid off. It paid huge dividends tonight. Rich Franklin and our good friend Niner, Craig Conley. Franklin's so happy he'll hug anybody right now. Luter just able to get up right now. He is absolutely exhausted. Maybe he didn't make the weight cut as easily as we thought. Bruce Buffer has the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Steve Mazzagatti has called a stop to this contest at 3 minutes, 1 second of round number 2. Declaring the winner and la gagnant by TKO, Rich Ace Franklin!
3:01 of the second, Franklin back in the winner's circle. He's inside the octagon with Kenny Florian.
Good looking.
Rich, phenomenal job. You showed why you were a champion in this very tough division. You knew that Luter wanted to take you to the ground. He had you in some difficult positions. You showed some amazing counters and defensive skills. What were you thinking when he had you mounted? He almost had you in the armbar. What was going through your mind there?
I was just trying to build a false sense of confidence in Luter. Now, you know, we trained defending the takedown time and time again. I knew that he was gonna shoot the way he did, get my lead leg, try to put me against the fence. That's exactly what we trained not to do, and he took me to the ground. I got a little complacent. I was comfortable, not wearing myself out. Luter is known for his lack of conditioning, so, you know, I waited. He went for the armbar and I escaped.
I was just gonna say, was that part of your strategy? You seemed to wear on him. You made him pay every time he missed a shot. Was that part of the strategy, to wear him down?
Yeah, definitely. We wanted to make sure that every time he took a shot, he was paying for it, whether it was with a strike or some sort of conditioning. Hey, I want to say thanks to the Canadian fans here. Yesterday when I walked out to the weigh-ins, these guys booed every everybody that wasn't Canadian. I was standing backstage all across my fingers like, oh, please, don't boo me too. You guys are great. Great crowd. I'd love to come back.
You know, Jim Carrey's Canadian. I think it had something to do with that. You look like Jim Carrey, who's Canadian. I think they thought you were Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Unbelievable job. Canada loves Rich Franklin.
Hey, I want to say thanks to all the guys in Cincinnati that helped me get ready before I went up to Matt Humes in Seattle. Thanks to all my coaches. And hey, what's up to the guys in Fort Benning? And I want to say thanks to God. Praise to him.
Hey, listen to Ben Stiller talking to Jim Carrey inside the octagon. This was the second time that Rich Franklin fought in Montreal, and he wins a big one here tonight, defeating Travis Lutter and proving that there is a lot of fight left inside Ace. Rich Franklin, the former longtime UFC middleweight champion. All right, this one is the main event. Look how close the voting has become. Tens of thousands have let their voice be heard all night long, and now it's almost an even matchup. St-Pierre with a slight advantage at UFC.com, and our text voters all over, we thank you for your continued participation and support of the UFC. Serra, St-Pierre, the main event of the evening, still ahead here tonight live from the sold-out Bell Center, Montreal, Quebec, Canada. An attendance record set this evening as we get set for what is one of the biggest main events in UFC history. A final look inside the locker room of UFC welterweight champion Matt Serra, who tonight looks to prove that the first time he defeated George St-Pierre was not a fluke. And there you see George St-Pierre inside his locker room. He plans on putting on a great show and becoming once again the undisputed UFC welterweight champion. Be sure to pick up the newly released DVD, Aliens vs. Predator Requiem, to see how these two otherworldly foes matched up in battle. And speaking of matching up, let's take a look at how the champion, Matt Serra, and the challenger, George St-Pierre, match up.
Goldie, I'm going to give the striking advantage to George St-Pierre. However, the power advantage to Matt Serra. We saw what he did in his last fight against GSP. He definitely has knockout power. Takedown game is going to go to George St-Pierre. He's been working with the Canadian Olympic wrestling team. Submissions got to go with Matt Serra. He's a world champion in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Let's talk about the intangibles. I'm going to give the advantage to Matt Serra in the mental game. He's coming in here with a brutal knockout win over George St-Pierre. George is fighting in his hometown. He needs to deal with the pressure of the hometown crowd and overcome the memory of that devastating loss.
The matchup of the night, brought to you by EVPR Unrated on DVD and Blu-ray today. Oh, this anticipation has built up for months, and here in Montreal, there is no one in the game of mixed martial arts more famous than George St-Pierre. He fights Matt Serra in our main event of the evening. You will hear truly a hero's welcome in a moment. And if you think Matt Serra is the villain, well, you're going to find out for certain. He is #1 enemy tonight here in the province of Le Quebec in the Montreal Bell Center. Mike Goldberg, Kenny Florian, once again, our good friend Joe Rogan watching at home, some great family obligations. Joe is interested in this one because he always talked about the crazy monkey jiu-jitsu of Matt Serra. But it's not just the great skills of Matt Serra, it's the true confidence of this man. No one believed that he could beat St-Pierre once. He did it, and he truly believes he's going to do it again.
It used to be the case where everyone was afraid of Matt Serra's jiu-jitsu. But now, after that knockout win over George St-Pierre, you got to fear his hands as well. He's really developed his game, training with Ray Longo. Heavy, heavy hands. I mean, George St-Pierre found out, and whether he's nervous or not about that last fight, it was the hands that took him out. It was early. It wasn't like, you know, he had to overcome being tired or not training. It was early in the fight, and it was a strong right hand that took him out.
George St-Pierre is coming off perhaps the most dominant win of his UFC career over future Hall of Famer Matt Hughes. Absolutely dominant throughout the whole fight. He says he continues to get better every day, not just physically, but perhaps, Kenny, more importantly, mentally.
You know, George St-Pierre believes he's at the top of his game. He showed that he can come back from a loss, fighting Josh Koscheck, out-wrestling Josh Koscheck, taking Matt Hughes out in every aspect. I mean, George St-Pierre is ready for this fight.
George Rush St-Pierre, hoping to enjoy the greatest moment of his life, the greatest moment of his fighting career, as he gets set to try to become the welterweight champion and wear what he calls the real belt once again. All night long, the texts have come in, Kenny. They've actually turned out to be pretty even at 52-48 last count, now 54-46. Close all night at UFC.com, close all night at our text voting station, 88222. Our texting tonight, of course, brought to you by our good friends at Tap Out. American, arrogant, and in your face. So the wait, Kenny, is finally over. Tonight we find out if it was an aberration or if there will be validation to the skills of Mattserati Serra, as only one man will leave the undisputed welterweight champion.